Okay, let's stop with the bougie and call this meeting to order. It's 6:30. So we are here for the, October facilities meeting. If you could please call the roll.
Greer. Here. Hanauer Friedman. Locke.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Mannix Fairnot. Wilson.
Here.
Furtado. She's here. Yeah, she's coming. Lockshin.
Here.
Go back.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Here's Stephanie's here. If I could get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting and the agenda, I have Smith and Locke. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes. And approval of the minutes for the September 3rd, 2024 meeting. We got Wilson and Greer. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, any public participation for tonight's meeting? Looks like there are no members of the public here. So we can move on to communications. Do we have any board communications tonight? Wow, you're trying to go real fast here. Okay, no communications. On to new business. Update on ITB 2022-008, County Plaza renovation project, Bailey Edward Design, and Brown Russo. No, that's okay.
Yeah, so, no Brown Russo tonight. Basically, update on the County Plaza. As you all know, we have reached substantial completion. There have been a few items that we've identified as being wanted in the building. We're going to go through some of those change orders tonight. And I was notified this morning that the blinds are hung in the building, all 6 levels, and they look fantastic. So that's, yep.
Chris, any updates from the county side, or it's okay if you have nothing to share? No?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Do we have your change order? Yeah, okay. I see the, yeah, okay, it just got moved down. No. Okay, I see it now, sorry. Well, we don't have Brown Russo here today, so we can, again, we're gonna pass over item B, the minority employment report. We did have that on file. Gosh, has that been 2 months now that we got that? So if there are any questions, hopefully if there's someone we can reach out to directly, or maybe direct them to myself or Steve, we can funnel those over to Brown Russo if needed. Moving on to a discussion. Oh, sorry, Jenny.
Can I just, I just want to put this out here in this committee that those numbers are really important. The minority employment numbers are so important, and we keep getting questions even from our fellow board members. I would love if we could have that discussion in front of the full board somehow at some point, because everybody, the public's asking, like, sooner than later, I would hope to do that.
Stephanie?
I concur, and I think in Finance Agenda today, we talked a little bit about this, that maybe November, like, let us get through this budget stuff, and there's a lot on the agenda this month, a lot, but maybe facilities and finance collectively or something could do something, but I'm thinking that maybe I don't want to do it during December because there's not a lot of eyes on us because of the holidays, so maybe it would have to be the full board because that's when facilities is, right? But maybe the November facilities, and then we'll have really close to substantial completion. So the numbers we'd be talking about would be pretty close to a full picture. Does that make sense? Yeah, but I totally agree.
Yeah. It's just been unfortunate that, due to illness and other life circumstances, we haven't had them here to talk about it, but we can definitely pull something together for presentation at the November meeting. I can connect with you on that, Stephanie, to do the finance portion. Okay. Moving on to item C, discussion and approval of change orders for County Plaza. Those are, on my stack, they were the two on the bottom. Sorry, we have change orders 65, 66, 67, and 68. And,
So I have numbers for 65 and 66. 67, go ahead.
67 is for the cameras, electrical and fiber drops. That's going to the board at the end of the month. And 68 is for the microphones and the treasurer windows. That's going to the board at the end of the month as well.
okay, so we won't discuss those 67 and 68 today, just 65 and 66.
Correct.
Okay, so, go ahead then, Carla. If you could let us know about those, then we'll move to approve.
Yep. So 65, I think we touched on briefly at our last meeting. They are the repair of the drains at the upper level parking deck. And I don't know if Dana was able to actually give you guys copies of that yet. I've got a copy here, but of the actual numbers that it came in at.
The 155,
150.
155,067?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a copy of that.
Okay, okay. Okay, great. So that was basically to cut open around all of the remaining drain bodies, replace those drain bodies and reconnect them to the existing lines. And then 66 is for, I guess the auditor and planning and zoning wanted to have glass installed at their transaction windows. So that number, that 8868, is to install glass at those transaction windows.
Okay, if we could get a motion to approve those. Smith? Seconded by? Finished there or not? Any discussion?
I just want to make sure that the resolution, because what it says on the agenda is all of them. So just make sure that we had just, that we're just approving those two.
Right. So this is the motion to approve, excuse me, ITB 2022-008 County Plaza Renovation Project, change orders number 65 and 66. Discussion on those? All in favor? Any opposed? Those pass. Thank you. Okay, and then an update on the County Plaza elevator renovation project.
So we've talked with our contractor, Otis, this afternoon, and they seem to be on schedule to have elevator 3 complete in mid to late November. Yeah, we're fingers crossed. They have not run into any issues as they're installing the new elevator. They've had Davis Electric out to run electric to the new cab. So that is really great news. And they're actually looking to add another crew sometime in October. So hopefully that will expedite the installation of the 2 south elevators that the public will use. So
Fortato.
This is completely inappropriate in terms of the order, but I did want to mention, I just couldn't do the math fast enough, that our change order increase on the plaza through 66 is 9.9%. 9.9 and a little bit more percent. So we're getting really close to that 10%. And my guess is these next 2 change orders might put us over. I just wanted to say that.
Chris?
I believe the 155 is in there though, correct?
Yes.
That one is,
Yeah, 65 and 66 are in there.
The big one is in there.
Correct.
And if I understand correctly, I believe there is another change order that's coming that is being funded out of a different pot of money. Is that correct? I want to say it was the cameras, but I may be misremembering.
That was the, oh, let me find it. Oh, where is it?
Stephanie, did you?
The cameras are a
It's the-
separate expenditure out of ARPA.
It's
We funded the camera system out of ARPA, and it's just been hanging out on our sheet. Yeah,
It's the AV.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what. okay.
Yes, that'll be ARPA funding, so that won't count towards,
Well,
well,
is it a separate contract? If it's a change order, it's still, I mean, where the money comes from, it's
Yes.
still a change order, it still would count. Like, it would still count for the percentage.
Right.
But that fund, I mean, a
It's a
whole
different
bunch of
fund,
the
right.
jail is being funded out of ARPA. So that's just a separate line. We had one allocation for ARPA, and then we were doing the cameras regardless of the expansion, is my understanding. So that was like a separate line. Does that make sense? But there's two jail lines, I guess, is on the ARPA chart. They're listed separately.
Carolyn? Turn on your microphone, please.
So it's the 10% where we was hoping not to go over, or we was capping?
I guess 10% is the normal expected, like, what you would allow for in
for
a
the
building
change
project
orders,
overage. So once we go over that, then we're like, this is gonna hurt more. So I guess that's the simple explanation. That's the way I understand it.
It's 63 on that list. On the backside.
Oh, on the, okay.
I could be wrong, but I think that's quite a bit less than is on that ARPA line. So, Mr. Summers, if you could work with facilities to see, because if I am correct, and I'm just saying this off the top of my brain, if we're not going to use that entire amount for the cameras, we need to reallocate that now-ish, right? Like in the budget process. So to some other, because just remember, all ARPA money must be locked in like the next 30 days or so. Or, so if it is, I could be wrong, but that dollar amount seems quite a bit less than would just off the top of my brain, what I'm remembering the ARPA for. Anyway, sorry, this is totally has nothing to do with the order of the agenda. I just didn't add that fast. I should have just been like, go slower, but I didn't.
That's okay. We're kind of moving at a fast clip tonight. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you. What's the process then? Is there an additional process that takes place should we exceed the 10%? Is there a board action? Does it stay within facilities?
No, there's, I mean, that's not ever been a firm, like, we are not to exceed 10%. That's just the expected overage for the project, for, I guess, most major construction projects. So we really need to watch any further spending for sure. And we don't want to exceed the 10% if we can, but since it's looking like we're hovering right there, and we are also at substantial completion, so, hopefully there shouldn't be anything else coming along.
Just a follow-up, thank you. There's not a required budget transfer from another fund into this CARF fund or whatever? No?
No.
No, No, in fact, what we discussed, I don't think we are even to the level, if you took the bond and the money we set aside from ARPA, I do not believe that we are going to even hit that. And so what the finance committee discussed was that any, like, maybe by the end of this month, any additional expenditures, we're just going to stop spending out of ARPA, because if we don't we can't just have money from ARPA sitting out there, because if we don't spend it, then we lose it. So the thought was tie off the ARPA spending, and then any additional spending, we might have to make, it wouldn't be, well, any additional spending wouldn't happen till 2025. And at that point, we'd have plenty of CARF to cover it. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but that we need to end there being any unallocated ARPA from either of the two jail pots, like now. That was like basically, does that make sense? Because otherwise, that money we will lose it if it just sits out there post the December 30, however many days is in December, 31? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I hope that made sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to take us down like a total
No,
rabbit hole.
one more rabbit hole question.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is it elevator related?
No, it's back to the change
Sorry.
orders. Is 67 and 68, what's the cost of 67 and 68?
Well, I was just going to say, I think if we're done with elevator
Oh,
questions, we can,
I'm done riding the elevator.
Right.
If there's any ideas what the cost of 67 and 68 are?
I do not have those numbers. If we can find out.
Oh, well, it'd be nice to know if facilities knew before we showed up at the
Yeah.
board. It'd just be,
Carla, did you
Nice.
have an idea on that, or?
I don't. We had, there were some modifications. We gave those to the contractor yesterday at a price. Hopefully, they were going to get it to us today so we could bring it. But then apparently this morning, there were some additional cameras that needed to be added. I would say probably by the end of the week, we should know on the camera count. And I don't know that I have an update on the speaker for the treasurer's transaction windows.
So we'll have that at the very latest when the board packet comes out. So we already know it's coming. We can talk about why they're delayed, and we'll have the amount when we get our board packets. So if we need to speak to the rest of the board on those, we'll have the information at that point.
Chair Lokshin?
Yes, Steve, sorry, couldn't see you.
That's fine. I think a reason for the delay is we heard from Dustin, I think, yesterday about additional cameras that he wanted. So that explains why we don't have firm numbers for it at this point.
Okay, thank you. Was there anything else on elevators? I think we're good there. Okay. Oh, Stephanie?
Okay, so yeah, the line item for, and it actually says sheriff's office camera for ARPA.
Just, sorry, break in, not about elevators, right?
Yeah, I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
Carla, thank you.
I'm so sorry. The line item from ARPA, and it's just simply listed as sheriff's office updated camera system, is 1.3 million, which is no, so maybe we're not even talking about the same thing. But Steve, could you look into that with, like, put facilities and Travis in conversation, just to make sure that, and maybe the sheriff's office, that we are all, like, that money is going to be spent, because none of that money has been spent. And if it is these cameras, we're only spending 10% of it, and that's kind of a big deal. So maybe there's more cameras than I'm aware of.
No, the ones that are in here, this was 63,
Yeah,
that's the boardroom, that's our stuff. So that's got to be something different.
Yeah, 63 is for the Shields Carter boardroom at the Bennett.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. I'm thinking of the jail. You almost think I'm insane.
No,
This
I just
whole
got a little
time,
confused.
the entire time I've been talking about the jail.
Been an
So just
administrative center.
disregard literally everything I've said. You almost think, because I just heard cameras and we have a camera line. Nothing I said has anything to do with this conversation.
Oh, we're
And
not
I'm
gonna
really
forget-
sorry.
We're not going to forget that there's 31 days in December, though.
I will say that we are meeting regularly with Travis and with Dana to keep an eye on our spending of ARPA funds. We're doing that on a regular basis. Oh, it's fine.
That is fine. We're all, basically volunteers, so, yes. Okay, moving on. We've got the update on ITV 2022-009 satellite jail consolidation. Reef Stick agreed, and PJ Herb, but you're just one.
No Matt today. As far as progress goes, the contractors have, I believe, nearly finished all of the punch list items for the addition. I plan on going there tomorrow to walk through and verify their completion. And they're looking like moving into the existing building here in the next couple of weeks.
Any questions on that progress? Okay. Again, we received the minority employment reports for PJ Her a couple months back, but we have stalled discussion due to absence and illness. That's fine. We will plan to do an overview of both of the larger construction project numbers at the November board meeting. Okay, so then we have discussion and approval of change orders for ITB 2022-009 satellite jail consolidation project, change orders number 63 and 64, which are on your desks. Chris, if you want to tell us about those before we move to approve.
Sure. Change order 63 is to remove and replace the portions of the concrete access drive that were already in poor condition before the contractor vehicles started using them, but now are in dire need of replacement. That total is $65,855. Change order 64 is to provide additional plumbing parts for replacement of existing pieces of the plumbing system inside the existing jail. So when the contractors move into the next phase of the project, a lot of the old and aging plumbing systems can be replaced at that time. That total is $46,472.39.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve change orders number 63 and 64 for the satellite jail lock and second Vantage Theranaut? Any discussion, questions on these, Stephanie?
This time I was faster. It's 6.5%. So we're well below 10% on this one.
Excellent.
And I also now know this one, we're talking about the jail.
That's not a challenge. but
Thank you, Stephanie, for proving that you're human, and thank you. We all have a flaw. Thank you.
Okay. Jeff?
And it's not even December 31st yet. But whose idea, this is change order, number 63, line item 2, page 2. Whose idea was it to use microfiber versus wire mesh?
I believe that was a discussion Dana had directly with the contractors. I don't know the specifics and particulars in the reasoning behind that, other than it was a savings.
Yeah. Well, that was it. I wanted to thank the person for creating the savings, whoever chose that. Thank you.
Mike?
I've got one little question. We've got the contract sum of 46,472 on change order 64. But when I look at the itemized parts list for Marks, it's at 44,259. Do you know what the 2,000 about dollar difference is?
It's the markup for the contractor. That wasn't on the quote.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't have a chance to write the change order to get in your packet until yesterday.
Anything else on these two? So all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, next up, we have an update on the courthouse boiler burner replacement project, ITB 2024-003 from Chris.
It's moving along pretty decently. Boiler 1 has been retubed completely. The boil out procedure has been done on that one as well, and it is back online. Boiler 2 is offline. We are waiting for Jarvis to get back and get that retubed. After that, we'll do a boil out procedure on that one, have them both online, and then be waiting for the burners to come in to have them replaced. And the chemical system has been online since we got started on this project, so that's good.
Any questions? Stephanie?
I believe this is the same boiler burnout thing. Just so you know, in order to do this, this is going to be on finance agenda, and we're going to have to appropriate funds because we don't have this in our budget. And I forget how much it costs, like, it was in the teens, 14, 17.
For the boil out procedure
Yeah,
funds?
yeah. I don't remember.
17?
It was a little over 7.
Little
Yeah,
over
so
17.
that money, if you're like, wait a minute, when you get your cow agenda, you're like, didn't I just read about that? Indeed you did. We will need to appropriate money for that, because there just isn't enough to do it. And apparently this is hopefully gonna give us a lot more life in this boiler, and the alternative is quite expensive.
Yes. We were not aware of it until Garrett Callahan got in there and explained to us that it needed to be done with those new tubes installed. And then we actually looked at the nomenclature for those old boilers, and it says when you retube the entire boiler, you should have these boil out procedures done. So I said, yeah, we probably better do that then. So, yep.
So facilities will merge into finance this month.
That's another one that's good for us to be aware of, just in case there are questions that come to you on the facilities committee. Any other questions, discussion on that? Mr. Wilson?
So inform me, the boil out is like a curing process? Or what's
It's a
that for?
chemical that they introduce into the boiler, and they fire it, and it helps descale and clean all the crud out from inside the boiler and kind of protect those new tubes.
Okay.
So they don't get contaminated with the shell of that boiler,
Okay,
in
all
a
right.
nutshell.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yep.
Stephanie?
Somebody remember that explanation, because I bet that the board is going to ask that in finance, because all of us asked that in finance agenda. We were like, what is boil out? And then we all were like, So my guess is somebody from the board is going to ask that question.
Okay.
I designate Mike as the spokesperson on that one item.
Oh, I could ask you the question and then you could answer it. We'll set it up ahead of time.
Sure, I've helped with that, so sure, sure. And it would be my parting gift.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. All right. There's no other questions or comments on the boiler. Moving on to other business, and I have none, other than we've gotten the heads up that there will be a couple of items on the finance agenda that we should be aware of, and on the full board for the other change orders. So just keep those in mind as we move on. Stephanie?
I move that the facilities committee set aside a certain amount of money to hire kidnappers to bring Mike to all of the meetings for the next 4 years, because I move he doesn't get to leave.
Second.
That's unanimous.
You could be facilities member emeritus.
There we go. We're coming up with new roles, yes. So, again, no other business. I think it would be good if we, at the December meeting, looking ahead, somehow honor Dana as he is. So if you're thinking about that, come to me with any ideas. Oh, there's no December facilities.
I was just like, wait a minute.
Oh, no. Okay, we'll figure it out. We're getting chatty. All right, so presiding officers report. The next meeting, keep in mind, this is on a Wednesday, November 6th at 6:30. That's due to Election Day being on the Tuesday and Brookings being really busy that day. The items to be placed on the consent agenda are numbers 6, letters C and G. Oh, right, and the change on C, that it's just 65 and 66 on the consent agenda. That is all I have. We are adjourned at 7:01. Thank you all.